Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Innovation. Have you ever run into the situation like this? Plugging your PoE camera into the PoE switch and nothing happened. No lights, no power, no signal. You're wondering what happened, why it doesn't work. And you double check the cable, the same one you used last time, and turn on and off the switch, switching the ports, still nothing happened. The label says PoE supported on the PoE camera, but your camera is just acting like it's not even there. We have rounded up the most common real-world causes behind PoE connection failure. There are 5 sneaky reasons your PoE setup might fail, and once you understand them, you will be able to fix 90% of this kind of issue. The first priority and the first thing to check whether your PSC and the PD are speaking the same PoE language. That's the crucially important step. That's why we've put that as first. There are official IEEE standards for PoE, like AO2.3 AF, AO2.3 AT, that's also called the PoE Plus, and AO2.3 BT, that's PoE++, which defines how devices negotiate power. They do what's called a handshake before sending electricity, and this ensures your switch won't fry the device that can't handle PoE. And if you want to better understand this, how the power handshake actually works, check out our other video where we break down step by step, and the link on the description box below. Here's a quick breakdown of the PoE standards. AO2.3 AF PoE delivers up to 50.4 watts. And AO2.3 AT, that's called a PoE Plus, supplies up to 30 watts. AO2.3 BT goes up to 60 watts type 3, or 90 watts, that's type 4. And here's something important to know. These standards are designed to be backward compatible. So, if you connect the PoE++ BT switch to the PoE Plus camera, AT camera, it won't overload it. The power source automatically adjusts downward to match the device's needs. But the reverse isn't true. If you plug the power-hungry BT device into the older AF or AT switch, it simply won't get enough juice to power on or function properly. This compatibility works only when both ends follows the IEEE standards. Now, here's the catch. Non-standard PoE devices exist, often called the passive PoE, and these skip the handshake and just inject the voltage on the cable. It's like plugging your phone directly into the car battery without checking the compatibility. Passive PoE might pushes 24 volts or 48 volts regardless of what's on the other end. Plug the passive PoE source into the sensitive IEEE compliant PD, you might fry it. Plug the passive PoE devices into the smart switch. It probably won't power on at all because there's no handshake, so the switch doesn't even recognize the device. And next up, even if you're using a standard compliant gear, Model A versus Model B mismatches can still trip you up, especially with the cheap or early generation devices. PoE sends power over Ethernet using 2 main methods. Model A delivers power on the data pair pins 1 and 2 and 3, 6. Model B uses spare pairs pins 4, 5 and 7, 8 in 10 and 100 megabits per second setups. And IEEE compliant power devices are supposed to accept either mode, but some older or non-compliant PDs are wired just one. You will see specs like PoE inputs on pins 4, 5, and 7, 8. That means Model B only. Now, your switch might only support a Model A, and guess what? No power flows. Your device stays off. So, again, the Ethernet jack might fit, but if the power mode isn't supported, it's a silent failure. This especially matters with the mid-span injectors, usually Model B, versus end-span switches, usually Model A. You need to stick to proper certificate IEEE gear if you must use a specific mode. Double check the pinout in the datasheet. And let's see that your camera and switch are both standard compliant. It powers on, but then shuts off when you start recording. What gives? This is often a PoE class mismatch. Your PD simply demands more power than the ports can deliver. Quick power guide. 802.3 AF maxes out around 50 watts, 802.3 AT allows 30 watts, and 802.3 BT goes up to 60 and or 90 watts, depending on the type. If you plug a 30 watt PD camera into the PoE AF ports, it might never start, or it will both. Then reset the moment the IR LEDs kicks in. That's the power spike crashing the port. Some smart devices scale back performance if they detect the limited power. Others won't operate at all unless they get enough full budget. The solution? Match the PoE class of the PD with a PSE that meets or exceeds its power needs. No exceptions. Now, here's one that catches a lot of people off guard. The Ethernet cable itself. PoE supports up to 100 meters, 328 feet of the cable. Beyond that, voltage drop becomes significant. Example, you got a camera at the end of the 150 meter run. The switch is sending 48 volts, but due to the resistance, the camera only sees 36 volts. It might blink on and then go dark, classic symptom of the undervoltage. If the cable's too long or low quality, you will get instantly or total failure. Even if your switch and the camera are top tier, if the cable is too long or low quality, you will get instability or total failure. How to fix this? Use quality copper cables, stick to under 100 meters, or use PoE extender to break up the long runs. And lastly, your PoE switches might simply be out of the gas. Every PoE switch has a power budget, the total amount of the voltage it can deliver across all ports. Example, a switch rated for 130 watts total can run 8 PoE Plus cameras pulling 30 watts each. That's 240 watts, way over budget. In this case, only the first few devices may power on, the rest, no dice. Smart switches might show an alert, or you may just notice devices randomly turning off. What can you do? Prioritize ports. Some switches allow this. Reduce the number of the high-power PDs per switch. Upgrade to the higher voltage switch or use mid-span PoE injectors to share the load. So, to the recap, here are 5 most common reasons your PoE device isn't getting power. 1. Standard mismatch, active versus passive PoE. 2. Model A versus Model B conflict. 3. Power demand too high for ports. 4. Cable length or quality issues. 5. Switch power budget exceed. If your PoE setup isn't working, go through this checklist. You will usually find the answer.